Hey guys, today's video is a tack up with me. So as you can see, the first thing I'm doing is using a magic brush just to go all over his body, just to make sure there's no mud or anything that's going to irritate him when we're riding. I would like to say I'm making him lovely and clean, but this particular day he was very, very clean, even though it had been raining all day. So yeah, I can't really say that, can I? So I'm just brushing him all over. As you can see, he's trying to give me a little groom as well because he loves being groomed. He's definitely a kind of horse that would just stand there the whole day and be groomed. And actually, looking back at this video, I'm not really sure why I've tied him up, because he would just stand there because he enjoys it so much. So now I'm just checking underneath his mane and brushing that off. I'm also making sure that he's not too sweaty underneath there. And again, just brushing down his legs, around his girth, and around where the saddle would be. Now I'm going with the dandy brush and just flicking that over his whole body, just to make sure I'm getting any excess dust or hair off, because even though it looks like he's lost his winter coat, he is actually shedding quite a lot still. So I do just like to give him a flick over with the brush before I then pop his tack on. Now I'm just spraying him all over with the Leovet Power Phaser. This is the best fly spray for hacking out, in my opinion. It really does last for a good few hours, but the only thing is the smell. You will literally smell of this the whole day. And the most important step in my tacking up routine is making sure I pick out all of his hooves before every ride. He does have a tendency to get really tiny stones, like gravel type stones, stuck in his hooves very easily. So I really make sure to take my time, check every hoof, and make sure I've got out the stones before and after every ride. And now it's time to pick out and pop on one of my many saddle pads. I do have two main addictions when it comes to equestrian things. One is hat silks and the second is saddle pads. And on this particular day, I decided to go for the Midnight Blue Lemieux saddle pad in the GP shape. And this was actually the first saddle pad that we ever bought for Hugo, so it does have a special meaning, and I totally forgot how good he looks in this colour. I always start off with my saddle pad quite high up the withers, and then once I've placed my saddle on, I can then reposition it and slide it backwards to make sure that it's in the correct position. This is just the way that I've always done it, and it's the way that I personally find the easiest. And then once I've done that, I'm going to make sure the straps on the saddle pad are secure onto my saddle. I generally take my saddle pads off after each ride because Hugo's quite sweaty, and then I pop a new one on the next time I ride. So I'm always popping them on and taking them off, and it's a good excuse just to put on a different saddle pad every now and then. Now I'm getting my girth all sorted and putting on the girth sleeve. So this is the Athelstone girth from the Saddle Company. And the reason I have this one is because we had a few issues with Hugo not striding out, and the reason was that the skin underneath his stomach was getting trapped in the girth, and it meant that it was chafing and making him very uncomfortable. But since having this girth, we haven't had any issues, apart from the fact because it's leather, he obviously sweats quite a bit more, and that's why I use the girth sleeve, just to make sure he's comfortable and that the skin is not sticking to the girth. Another thing that we always do before each ride is forelimb stretches. So here you can just see that I'm trying to pull his leg out. He wasn't very cooperative on this day, but we did manage to get some sort of stretch, and at least I knew then that if there was any skin trapped behind the girth, because he does have a lot of skin folds in that area, then this is the best way to make sure that we're just going to loosen that up and make sure he's comfortable. Now I'm just taking off his head collar and his fly fringe to get ready to pop on his bridle. We do tend to ride out in some sort of fly mask or fly fringe, and we just recently purchased the Equilibrium ride-on fly mask, so we've been using that a lot and really loving it. So here I'm having a little bit of trouble with the bit. His bit guards are sticking to one side of the D-rings, and I'm really having an issue trying to get these right, but I think I sort them in a minute. Yeah, there we go, I've sorted it. And now I'm just going to pop the bit into his mouth and pop the headpiece over his ears. He really doesn't mind having his bridle on now. Ever since we swapped to a comfortable bridle and a comfortable bit for him, he's fine and he takes it really well. So I'm just making sure everything is all buckled up and secure, and he's trying to eat the fly mask, which is never very helpful when you've just bought something brand new. And then I'm going to secure the fly mask into place. It's really easy. It's just got 2 Velcro attachments and then like a lace at the top, and then you just pop the forelock through.